All right, welcome everyone to this class. Today we'll be taking a look at application programming interfaces. Right, this is what you call as a API, right? Atharv is also here. Welcome Atharv, welcome Vijay. Let's try to understand what APIs are and how they really work. Okay, so this would be like a short 30-minute class, and I'll show you what APIs are and how they work, and we'll try to understand what are the uses of API, right? So what has happened is that previously, if you had to use any service, right, you would have to get their floppy disk or you would have to get their CD to use that. But now what has happened is that because we have the internet, because everything has gotten a lot more advanced, we have something called as an API. So API is a very simple way for you to just send a request to some platform or some server, and then they will fetch you some data. They will give you some data. They will send back the request, the answer to that request, right? So that would be them answering your question that you have asked them, right? Now it depends on what exactly is the request you have, and based on the request there would be different types of responses that you would get. Okay, so there are all sorts of APIs out there, right? There are a lot of them. You can have APIs that tell you jokes. There are APIs that can fetch you memes. There are APIs that you can use to take a look at the stock market and the different stocks and how they are priced at. So yeah, there are like a lot of these things that you can start using, with which you will understand how does the stocks really work, or like how does APIs work, and then you can use them very simply. All right, now let's see. Pooja, welcome to the class. Shreya, welcome. Right, so today we'll just be trying to understand how they really work. I have a couple of them that we can test and we can see their result. And yeah, that's what we'll be doing here. Now, application programming interfaces is the long form of API. That basically means that you can, this is like a command line interface. You can send a request and you will get a response. That's what basically it is. And that's a great way for you to understand it as a beginner. Okay, now, yeah, as I've told you, API is a way for you to send requests and you get the answers. There's a lot of APIs available. Definitely, you can find APIs and you can use APIs with any other programming language that you want, right? There are a lot of languages that you can use with which you can get those functionalities that you want, right? So yeah. Okay, so what we'll do right now is that we'll be using this package or this module that is called as requests, right? So it is a good thing for you to just install requests. Just go to request pypi. Pypi just stands for Python package installer. Click on that and you can download pypi as a package. Just go to cmd and just paste this, and this way you will now have this module or this package installed. Okay, now this is really important because once you have requests, you can do all sorts of you can send some particular question, you can get the response, so everything becomes a lot easier. All right, so that is the benefit of doing this. Once you have installed this, once you do have had this command and it executes properly, what you can now do is that you can start writing some programs for these APIs. Now you can just take a look at the APIs. Let's just take a look at the Gifi API, right? If you type Gifi API, it will give you a lot of these things. So with Gifi API, you can get all sorts of like whatever GIFs that you want, right? So all of these GIFs you can get with the help of the Gifi API. Let's say you want to get started, just click over here and it will tell you how to use it. Let's say you want to use it in some of your iOS application or in your Android. So for that you would have to use like Java or Flutter. Then you have web SDK as well, right? So all of these things are available. You can take a look at endpoints, right? So endpoints is what we'll take a look at what these are. Every single API has this URL which acts as an endpoint. Okay, and we'll see how this works. Let's take a look at web SDK. So you can just use this yarn add, or you can also do that using npm. So you can just say npm install and this complete name, right? So this is what you can do, and then you can get started by just sending a fetch request. All right, so you can also just put it, let me actually try to do this exact same thing. Let's see if this thing runs. So currently, like last class, I was teaching some people how React.js works. So I was just making like a simple Instagram clone to just show them how all of this would work. Let me just close this for now. I'll simply just go to app.js, and inside of my app.js, I'll just get rid of this as well. And let's get rid of this, save it. And here I will just say npm install this complete thing. Okay. So let me just copy this out, and I can just first of all say npm install, and this will take some amount of time. Basically what I'm doing here is that I am able to download the node module for this, right? So what are node modules? You don't need to understand much about that, because again, this is not a class on web development or anything of that nature, but I'm just showing you how this would work. So I'm just installing the required files for me to use the Gifi API afterwards. And once I do have that, I can basic example of how you can render a grid of GIFs using grid component and the fetch API. You'll need an API key to fetch data that will be used to populate your components. You can apply for API key here, right? So what happens is that whenever you want to create something like this, you need to have an API key. Okay, now this API key will give you a lot of, will actually tell the program that, okay, this is who you are, because what happens is that this can actually be really harmful for you. Let's say you want to create let's say you have an API, right? And people exploit that API by sending tons and tons of requests. Okay, it takes energy for you to satisfy that particular request, to answer and to resolve that particular query. So you want to make sure that they are not like spamming you. Okay, and for that you would need to have this API key. So what you will do here is that you will just apply for an API key for Gifi, and let's see how much time does this take. I can log in with any of these things. Let's log in with this. I don't have an account. I need to join Gifi. Right, so let's just do this real quickly. Let's see, I have this. Okay. Username is currently unavailable. Okay, all right. So let me just put in something. Okay, hopefully this is, wait. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, so now I have logged into this, and I can just click on create an app, right? SDK selected, select API. Just click on select API. Next step, your app name. I can just put in whatever name I want to. So here, let's just say GIF grid, right? And I can just put in some information. Let's just click on next, create app. This is required. Simple demonstration of how the Gifi API works. Let's just click on create app, and here we have the API key. Now don't use my API key, please, right? I will be changing this API key afterwards, after this session is completed. But now what I can do is that I can just simply copy this code, and I can then use this code into my index.js. All right, so let me go here, let me paste this out. Okay, so I am importing grid from Gifi React components, and after that we have this Gifi fetch gf variable, and after that we have this number, and here we can put in the API key, right? So I can just go here, and I can just copy this key, and I can put it over here. Let me just do this. Right, so now I have that API key with me. All right, let me save. Let's see. So we don't really need this again. Save, and we don't need this for now. Okay, so what is this number? Type annotations can only be used in TypeScript files. Yeah. So what happens is that this is for us to use like our TypeScript. Whenever we use TypeScript, we define the type of the variable. But anyways, let me just get rid of this very quickly and let's see what we can do next. So once we already have this, let's try to run this out. So save, I'll get rid of this for now, and now I'll just say npm start. Let's see if there are any errors, any problems. Let's see if this thing works. Target is not defined. Target is not defined. Where is target? 1473. React target. Okay, so the target is actually supposed to be, let me do that here. We had this thing, right? So we need to use this over here. Yeah, I thought they would include this, but anyways, we'll just put this part over here, save this out, and we'll get rid of this thing completely. Save and get rid of this as well. Save. Let's see if this thing works now. Target is not defined. Okay, says constant fetch GIFs offset gif.trending offset limit 10. I have changed it out, right? Okay, anyways guys, let us just leave this for now. I don't know what the problem is here. Import index.js. Okay, the target is not defined properly. Get element by root. This is what we are supposed to do. We have width, document, get element by ID, and then we'll have this colon as well. I don't know, for some reason this thing is not working right now. Just wait, I'll make it happen. Go up, remove this as well, save, and let me actually stop this build and run this once more. Okay, as you can see, this is what we end up getting, right? So this thing finally works. So what we've done here is that we just have a complete list of these GIFs. Okay, so this is what I wanted to understand. This is what we do once we have this API. So we are sending a request. Let us just take a look at the complete program and see how that works. Wait, let me just check for any questions. Okay, so what we've done here is that we first of all got the Gifi fetch API, right? We imported it. First of all, we installed and then we imported it, and then we just created this new variable and we assigned this this value, right? So we say Gifi fetch, and then we just put in this complete API key that I have. Then I say fetch GIFs, and we have this arrow function over here which just says that all the trending GIFs that I have, and we can limit that to 10 here, right? So that is why we don't see like a lot of them. We can just keep swiping and it just keeps loading on, right? So this is what happens here, and here we can just put in that what would be the width and the columns. Let's put in 5 columns here. Okay, so now this would be 5 columns. Let's just restart this, and now there would be 5 columns, as you can see, right? You can also just make it, even wider. So let's take an example of 1300. Save this out, and if you were to refresh this, it looks a lot bigger, right? So this is what you can do here. This is the power of having an API. I just use that. Once I have installed it in my node modules, I can just import it afterwards and use it properly, right? Once I have the API key. Now you need to understand, if I just keep spamming if I keep exploiting the particular API, it will actually ban me out, right? So they have that unique key that, okay, this person having this particular key is sending too many requests, right? So there would be something called as request timed out, right? So that is an error that you can run through if you just do too many requests. One more thing that you can do here is that you can just get another example of using a Python way of doing it, right? So what you were doing so far was using JavaScript and React properly, actually. And here we can just use this and we can put it into like a very simple Python script that we have. Okay, so what I'll do now is that I will make another folder, or we'll just use it over here itself. So I'll have a simple file, I'll call it new API.py, and inside of this what I will do is that I will first of all just import the request library, import requests, okay, and then we will just have a simple request, and or we will have something called as a response, okay, and response here would be equal to request.get, and inside of this we'll put in that link that we had. Okay, wait a minute, we need to get this link, copy. Alright, so we now have that link that we need, and what you're seeing here is that this is what I call an endpoint. Okay, this link is nothing but the endpoint. Okay, so let's do this, and after that I can just say fox is equals to response.json. okay, so I want it in the JSON format, which is just JavaScript object notation. Then I can just say print, and in this I can just print, first of all I need the fox, and let's try to see what do we get when we print the fox. So if I save this and if I run this, let's see what do we have here. We end up getting response. This has to be response, my bad, right? So now this looks good. Let's run this out. So we get this this dictionary that you can call it in, that we call it in Python. So this dictionary just has key value pairs. We have the image, the link of the image, and we get this link itself. Okay, so I can just click on this link and it should redirect me to that image that we have. So what it does is that this API just gives me a random image of a fox. Okay, that's what it does at the very end. Okay, so yeah, it's really simple. You can just keep refreshing and you'll get a different image all the time. Right, this time we got 47, keeps varying all the time. Okay, so this is another very simple example of using APIs. You can use them for a lot of applications, depends on what you want to build. Okay, so yeah, you can also just click on them and it will redirect you to the Gifi website itself. Let's go back though. So these are the most trending like GIFs that are happening like around the world on Gifi itself. So yeah. Okay, so this is what APIs are. You can also do something really interesting. You can go to this website called as Rapid AI or Rapid API, sorry. Rapid API. Let me just close the Gifi. So you know what, you can have Twitter API as well, and that is what I showed in one of the classes that I did for free on Unacademy platform. It is for free. You can just use my code Ishan S10 to enter into that, and in that I just talked about how you can use the Twitter API and you can create your own tweets. You can retweet automatically without having the need to open up the Twitter app. So that's really interesting. You can take a look at that as well if you want to learn more about how to do that. Okay, that does require you to take some time. So if you go to Twitter developer account, so you need to log in for this account. You need to apply for this. This will take about 15 days for you to get this access, because again Twitter has a lot of problems. You know, these bots are not good for their platform, so they want to make sure that everything is like legit. There are no like problems happening in the platform. So because of that they want to take some time. So you need to apply for this account. It will take some time. What you need to enter a few information about you. I'll just put in academic, I'm a student, and get started. You need to fill on these details. What do you want to do with this? What are your intentions? Where do you live? What is your current coding skill level? And all of these things you can just fill, and that way you can apply for this. All right, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we are talking about Rapid API. So let me just open this up. This is like a API marketplace, as the name suggests. This has a list of a lot of APIs, right? And you can use these APIs, and that will be very simple for you. Let me give you an example. Let's say we want to use like the IMDb API. Right, so with the IMDb API, you can just search for whatever you want to build. All right, so we have the IMDb API right here. This is taking some time, so just wait. Okay, so here we have the IMDb API. What you can now do is that you can, let me just see what happened here, new subscription, right? So what you can do, you can just select for what language you want. So in our case, it is going to be Python, and we will be using the request module, and we can just use this completely. Okay, so I'll just copy it and I'll put it over here. Just a minute. All right. So what do we have here? First of all, we have the import request, very simple. Then we have this URL endpoint. Okay, now this is where you will just put in whatever query you have. This is called as a query string. You can just put in whatever show you want to search for. In this case, this is going to be good Game of Thrones, and you can get the headers, right? So this is their API key. They have API host as well. This is the link, and then this is the key that they require. So every single person who logs into their account or logs into their website get a special API key, which they will be using to track how many requests is this person sending. And I can just see I have this variable called as response. Response is equals to request.request get. This is the get method, right? There is a get, there's a post method as well. There are various methods. In this case, we only want the get method. Then we want to use this URL headers. These are our headers, and we have parameters, that is our query string. So in this case, it's just going to be Game of Thrones, and we can just print this out. So let's see what do we get when we print this thing out. Let's just run this. Okay, so we get this huge, what is this? This is like a dictionary, right? So let's try to break this down and understand what exactly is happening here. So we have something called as D, which gives us this link, and I can just open up this link, and that opens up this Game of Thrones, banner. And what you can also do is that you can see what other things are required here. So we have this is a TV series, the rank is 17, Emilia Clarke, Peter Dinklage, all of these people were a part of this amazing web series or TV series, right? You can just keep opening, you can see, yeah, this is Cersei. So basically this just gives you a complete information about the complete show. So it will tell you who were the people that were in this show, what were their characters like, what were the ratings, what were the reviews. This is the data that it has here, right? So let's try to open this link. They have a lot of these things over here. Let me just close this out, and this is what you can do, right? So what you can also do is that currently we are printing this complete thing out. What I want you to do now is to use this, okay, to use this and use Tickinter as well. With Tickinter, what you can do is that you can create a very simple, with Tickinter, you can create a simple Windows application on which people can just write whatever query they have. Let's say they want to search for Mandalorian, right? So Mandalorian, they can just search for that, and they will get the image, they will get the rating, they will get a review. Okay, so these three things you need to display that, and for that you'll be learning Tickinter. I think I have made a class on that. If it is not on this channel, you can again go to the Unacademy platform you can just check out my my profile, and over there I have a free class. You can take a look at that as well if you're interested. Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. You can do a lot of things once you have this information, once you have this API figured out. All right, yeah, if you have any questions. Okay, so look, I want to quickly talk about this thing that is really important, and that is the Ascend program that Unacademy is doing. So basically, you can actually ace your final exams when you use the Unacademy Plus subscription. You can get the 10% off by using my code. That would be Ishan YT10. Okay, when you use that code, you get that discount. And what you can also do is that you can ask doubt on Unacademy. So let's say you have any questions, you're not able to understand anything, you can just go and you can ask a doubt. This is what the UI would look like. Just click on ask a doubt, just upload, select a picture and just put it out there, and people will actually be able to answer your doubt. All right, that is another thing that you can do. And you can get the subscription with which you'll be getting a lot of features, a lot of amazing things if you're preparing for some exams or you want to learn some new skills, right? So you can take a look at that. The pricing is over here available. All right, so this is also the iconic subscription of Unacademy, in which you will be getting access to a lot of to personal mentoring, right? So let's say you are not able to properly focus on some topic because you are in a class and you want someone to actually mentor you personally. So for that, you can take a look at the iconic subscription from Unacademy, and again, all your doubts will be solved, and it would be a great way for you to learn something, right? This is the pricing scheme for that. So yeah, you can use my code IshanYT10 to avail this, and Unacademy has a lot of other, scholarship tests as well. Like this one, this is called as Unacademy Combat, and this is like a scholarship test for class 10 students. And as you can see, this is the scholarship prize that you end up winning if you get to be the top few students. All right, so yeah, you can also download the Unacademy app, use the code IshanYT10 to get the discount. And I am also a part of the Creative Corner category, in which I get to create some amazing tutorials and classes on programming, right? So I talk about Python, about JavaScript, about how to build some projects using these languages. And you can also learn about Vedic mathematics, robotics, about negotiation, about effective public speaking, and debating as well, doodling, and a lot of other things. Okay, so yeah, you can sign up for this as well if you are interested. I wanted to create this very simple program in which you can just enter the name of any series, of any show or any movie, and you will be using the IMDb API, and it will give you the list that okay, this is the image and this is the name of that complete movie itself. So yeah, do take a look at that. And that was just a quick introduction to APIs and what you can do with this. Again, there's a lot that you can discover, right? So we are only just scratching the surface, and you can try to use a lot of these APIs that are available. Thank you for joining me here for this session.